Hi everybody, welcome to Gamescom 2010. I'm glad you could all make it out. There's some familiar faces here, some people I don't know. Hopefully I get to meet you today. There's a lot more people in here than I expected, because I was told there was 12 PCs, so I thought there would only be 12 people in here. So it's bigger than I expected. But that's good news, that's not anything bad. Today we're going to talk about multiplayer. I'm Nathan Camarillo, the executive producer on Crysis 2. We're going to give you a little overview of what multiplayer is, and then you guys will get to play as well. Did you guys get to see the show floor or anything, the booth, or the 3D movie? Did you get to see this at the big Crysis 2 booth? Hope you did. It's really cool. The 3D trailers are awesome, and the line now is very long. That's also a good sign, but not good for you if you haven't seen it yet, because you'll have to wait a while to get in. So let's talk about some multiplayer. At Gamescom, we're really happy that we're doing the world premiere multiplayer. For the first time. We haven't been talking about it. We haven't shown it to anybody. We haven't done any press on it. This is the big reveal here in our home of Germany. So if you just go ahead to the next slide for me. So there's some important things. If you could, maybe we can realize this a little bit. There's a little hard here. Just a little bit of mood light. And you guys can all hear me? Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, so the important thing is we want you to be the weapon. With the nanosuit, it completely changes the way that you play multiplayer. When you play multiplayer in Crysis 2, you may notice that it feels very familiar to games that you've already played, like any number of good community games out there, like Call of Duty or Battlefield Bad Company 2, these kind of modern military shooters. But what makes Crysis 2 different is the nanosuit. And what the nanosuit does is it gives you two temporary powers that you can use at any point in time. They're extremely powerful. One of them's cloak and one of them's armor. And if you're playing on console, it's very reactionary. It's right there on the controls, same on the keyboard. Right where your WASD keys are, you have access to both of them right above your strafing keys. So in the middle of action, you can instantaneously turn this on and react to what the game environment is throwing at you. The other thing about the nanosuit as well is it's extremely mobile, and you can move really quickly and fluidly throughout the environment. So you play a lot of ground pounders. The problem is when you're running through the levels, if you want to go one floor higher, typically you have to find a stairwell or a ladder to climb up, and that's not the case in Crysis 2. The nanosuit allows you to jump higher and move faster than in other games, so you can jump on top of like a one-story building or one story height difference. And if it's about a story and a half high, if you can look at it and you can see it, chances are you can get there, so you jump and you'll automatically grab it and ledge grab. So this gets you to combat faster, which is what you want to do. And that pace is slightly faster than most of the games that you're used to playing, because if you know how to use a nanosuit, you can get into the action really fast. But on the other side, the pacing is a little bit, just slightly slower than other games. So it's not, the nanosuit, we want you to feel like it protects you, that it's giving you some kind of advantage in battle, and it's saving your life. So it doesn't make sense if you get shot by a 3-round burst and you fall over. It's going to take just a little bit more, but not so much that you're a bullet sponge. And the reason for that is we want to give you this really small window of opportunity in there where you can use the powers of this suit to become an escape artist. So there's situational times when you'll be attacked by enemies or whatever, and you think, oh man, quickly you turn on armor and it saves your life. And you're able to turn the tide in a really quick fashion that you don't get to do in other games. So not only can you get into combat and get into the action faster, there's times that you can use opportunity to escape. And the other good thing about the nanosuit, now this time in Crysis 2, it's completely customizable. And over the course of playing multiplayer, you get a lot of, this is part of our wide and deep progression, you get a lot of unlocks as you're playing the game. And you unlock a lot of different weapons, a lot of different attachments, and a lot of different modules. What the modules do is they give you small incremental boosts to what your suit already does. So it pushes the stealth gameplay, the armor gameplay, or weapon gameplay even further, and you unlock these based on how you play. So we give you experience in different areas, you'll see this on the screens, but by giving you experience in specific areas, we unlock and promote your style of play. So if you like playing like a super action hero that jumps into combat and wants to take on 10 people at once, this is how you play, this is how you will unlock additional modules that support that style of gameplay. If you play balanced, you'll unlock them more evenly. If you like to play stealthy and sneaky, you're going to get those first. So it's up to you how you unlock them, but we really want to promote that style of game and gameplay in the gamers. And the modules that you choose to take into combat with you are sometimes that little defining bit that gives you that time to react and become the escape artist as well. Another good thing is that it's in New York City, so we have this awesome sandbox. The topologies of the map are really layered and just slightly layered. So you use that mobility that I'm talking about. And when you're moving fluidly through the environment, it should feel like parkour with guns, like you're a urban guy jump from building to building and jump up on stuff like the parkour stunt guys do. But then you also have the weapons that take you into combat as well. And we have very memorable locations in New York. It gives us a good variety of indoor, outdoor spaces. The most important thing is the world-class multiplayer developer that's creating it for us. It's our studio, Crytek UK. And for any of you who are familiar with them, they used to be the Free Radical guys. And they did, last console generation, they did the Time Splitters series of games, and this is a really good multiplayer if you guys ever played it back then. With your friends on the couch, you know, with playing with on the PS2, 4-player split screen and stuff like this. These guys really know what they're doing, and we really wanted to take multiplayer this time in Crysis much further than it had been in Crysis 1. So in order to do that, you know, we needed to staff up in order to build a team that could create the kind of multiplayer that we wanted to create. And you don't just go hire, you know, 30, 40 people off the street that know how to make multiplayer. I mean, that's a really hard process to hire even a guy who can make a good multiplayer level. But some time ago, about a year ago January, their company ran into some troubles. It was a hard time in the video game industry, and they were looking for someone to join forces with to make a really great game. And we were looking for someone who could make really great multiplayer. So it was a perfect match. We get along great. They've done really good things with Crysis 2 multiplayer that you'll see today. And many of the guys are here helping demonstrate and promote the game. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. So today what you're going to be seeing is 6 gameplay modes. Or we have 6 gameplay modes in total. Sorry, you won't see 6. You will only see 2. We're showing battle between our two main factions, Marine and Stealth. And these are tied into the single-player story as well of the game. We won't go into details because we're not going to spoil any of the fiction, but these are factions that exist in the single-player game, and when you're playing multiplayer in the view of the single-player game, once you play single-player, you'll see that there's a lot of parallels in story and locations and the events that happen, and a little bit of backstory here and there that make the whole Crysis 2 universe feel more full. But the 2 game modes that you'll see today are Team Instant Action, which is a classic team deathmatch. Find your friends, don't shoot them, shoot the enemies instead. But the tip is that you have the powers of your nanosuit at your disposal. So if you're playing it like every other game and you say, wow, this just feels like every other game, use the nanosuit. You're kind of not playing the game right, and take it to the next step. And then once you start doing that, you'll feel like, wow, this is totally different than every other game that you played. And if you played it a lot like me, then you don't want to play anything else. Because you go back to any of those other games and you feel like, oh yeah, this is good, but I'm missing the nanosuit, I don't have it here. So it's a very good thing. The next thing is, the other game mode is Crash Site. And in this mode, what happens is the alien ship flies over the level and it drops down a drop pod. And these guys were in the way, it's a bad spot to stand. But the pod comes in and crashes, and then your teams need to converge on it, and they fight for contention of the space. So it's like a classic capture and hold, but this thing also explodes when the timer runs out, so you need to get back away from it. And it's up to you how you want to play. Do you want to be right there on the front lines with your team standing around it to help collect points, or do you want to sit on the outside and keep the enemy from getting at it, as they're coming in? When you play this mode, look for the icon up here on the top right. Look for that, and it tells you where the location of the crash site is in the game. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I'll stop talking soon so you guys can actually see the game. Like before I said, we have a really unique New York setting. The vertical gameplay is a very important part. We go on 2 of the maps that you play today. You see we have a rooftops level and impact level, which I'll talk about in a second. But overall, there's 12 recognizable locations in New York. And some of these are landmark locations to the game. Some of these are landmark locations you would know from New York. Or if you're in a location, you can see a very popular landmark of New York in it. And we've done a lot of extensive research on New York in order to make that happen. We took field trips over there to take photos and walk around and get the size of things and the scale of things, and we recreated that into the game. And then I think we're on the last one. Nope. Darn. And I said darn because I want you guys to play. Okay, so we have 2 maps. The first one is rooftops, and this is the one if you saw the EA press conference. Did you guys see that? Yeah. Okay, that was scary as hell. Sorry for swearing, but it was really scary because we had 12 players live playing multiplayer on stage and anything can go wrong. Thankfully, nothing did. But you never know. I mean, if there's any time that that's going to go wrong, it's when thousands and thousands of people are watching and, something's going to happen. But thankfully for us, it didn't. If you look really closely at the video and you watch the guys who are playing, their knuckles are white and they're standing there like this with those please, nothing go wrong. Please don't crash. Don't let me shoot the hero. You know, everyone was so nervous, and we felt really good when it was over. But this is the map that we showed. It's rooftop action, and there's a lot of space to use. There's also an interior space. This one is the one that you'll play crash side on. And you know, the ship will fly over this building, drop a rocket, drop the pod down, and then you need to find where it is. And then let's look at the next one. And this one's a cool theme. So this is a interior space, but it's two buildings that have collided together. So due to the catastrophic events that happen in the single-player storyline with earthquakes and stuff like this, one building has fallen and smashed into another building. It's actually leaning into the other building. And the top chunk up here, that's an old hotel. And then the one down here is a new finance office building. So you have this juxtaposition of style in a very old New York classic style building with a very new modern finance building that is a little more cold and sterile. But when you're in the hotel, everything's kind of tilted and angled, so it's like you're running around in a funhouse. It's a really good map. There's a lot of good team play. If you're playing it, most of the action has to happen out here, you know, with the gunfire coming out from all directions, but it's a lot of good fun. So, let's see what's next. Oh yeah, so this is just some general overview on multiplayer. Today we have 5 preset classes. Over the course of all your levels, you'll get 5 custom slots that you can configure how you want, with your weapons, your attachments, with what modules you want. And then you situationally take those into the game, you know, based on how you want to play, how you want to support your team. The other thing is we have personalized upgrades. We have a general, 80 general ranks, like levels that you can get. And then we have specific suit mode ranks based on your style of play, like I was mentioning earlier. The nanosuit modules, we have 20 modules that you can upgrade, and each one of those, as you use them more and more, you can upgrade those into 3 tiers. So overall, there's 60 levels of modules that you can get. You can collect over 20 weapons. Dog tags are customizable, so you know, with your character, your profile, you create a dog tag, you stick the logo that you've unlocked on it. When someone defeats you, they get your dog tag, and then it gets added to their collection. So it's a good trade and share mechanic. And we have over 140 plus skill challenges that you need to complete as well while you're playing the game that unlock certain things as well. I think that's it. Yeah, check us out on www.sosnewyork.com, Facebook, Twitter, and mycrysis.com. Don't forget.